see here, it's all green on the map, so your interchange of 696 and I.
This is what he'll tell his children, that who the creator is. Some guy smoking weed. This is a little bit of his mindset. And I don't know where to. This is that girl's number. And the girl who he sent to my house and his mother. And they're in this group thing asking me, where is Ali? They sent a group message to me to let me know, hey, this was right after he was taken into custody by the police officers. In order to get my children, to retrieve my children, they had to arrest him. He had an arrest warrant. They went to his house to kick his door in, and they didn't know where his whereabouts was, and so they was letting me know that, hey, we're looking for Ali. And this was mass calls when she was calling me and calling my phone. This is the girl, Naima Chatham, that was calling my phone repeatedly, and she was calling block, and I had this thing called trap call to unmask the calls. And again, this is family members. This is his mother, the 728-4542, contacted me. These were the first texts at the top when the babies were missing. And then down here is the most recent ones on November 6th and November 8th. As he's getting closer to his trial, they're trying to reach out to me saying, hey, we'll watch the children, we'll help you take care of the kids, just don't put them in jail. And it's well beyond that at this point in time. Again, this is Ali, who messaged me on November 29th, a picture of him and the babies. This is all little forms of intimidation. This is a screenshot of the police report number that I made when Ali sent some boys to my house. Assuming that this must have been right around the time, because I was trying to screenshot things as they were happening. I had to call the police because there were 4 young men walking from behind my house. I could hear them behind my house, and I looked out the window. I looked out my side window first and saw them walking up my driveway. And then I went to the front, and then that's when I kind of said something through the window to them and said, hey, what are you guys doing out there? I said, I have cameras surrounding my entire house. I want you to know that there's cameras surrounding the entire house. What are you doing? And so then that's when, and I did have cameras surrounding the house. There were cameras on the house, but they were not active. So I just wanted to try to scare them into letting them know that the house was being monitored. And then that's when they responded, well, if you do have cameras, then you'll be able to pull the camera up to see what we were doing then. And a sarcastic remark they made to me in response to me telling them that I had cameras on the house. And then they kept walking. And then I didn't know who they were. It was 4 boys. And I called a 911 about that. These are all most recent. This is one of the more recent ones that he just sent me on November 29th. He was actually sending me a host of different texts, and he actually deleted them out of the messenger on Instagram. I didn't realize at first that you could delete messages, but he would send me messages and delete them. I did screenshot some of them. No, I'm jumping around here, but these are just the screenshots that are on the phone. This is when I reached out to his son when the babies were missing on August 24th. This was the day after I had been calling them, though. Calling them, and then I sent this messages, let him know that he had kidnapped my kids. My children were in fact kidnapped. They weren't there in a normal way, and I was just letting him know to please let me know where my children's whereabouts. I wanted him to know how wrong it was.
Yeah, you better believe it. He escaped death. Yeah, no better feeling than that, huh? Let's go less cold as we head toward the end of the week. Not there just yet. We're starting out this morning, and we're in the teens.
I was telling him how wrong it was. I was letting him know that he'd be an accomplice, and and I let him know that my children, or for sure my son, for sure saw who he was and knew who he was. So I was letting him know that he was positively identified.
Most of the moisture, our takeaway as we look toward the weekend is going to be some rain and snow showers to start out.
I told him and warned him that this could be federal charges. Don't give up your whole life for this, and that you're making a bad decision. I told him that him and his grandmother, Mukaraba Mizam, were accomplices to a double kidnapping. This is, again, I'm jumping around, but these are just the order of the screenshots. July 29th, she had sent me something, but it's important to note, I don't know if I can, yeah, I can. If you look at this, first of all, this lady was doing a lot of things that was antagonizing. She sent me something on July 29th, and I was not even talking to her. This lady has nothing to do with my children. This is not something that I am facilitating. I would love to have help. I'm taking care of 5 children by myself, and I would love to have family support and help. But these people are very, very evil people, and this lady had nothing to do with my children and acted, in fact, like she didn't even know who they were. When we would see her out in public, she would ignore me and the kids because I had embarrassed their family by talking to the imams who she wanted to have some level of respect for her. She didn't want people to know about the foolishness that her son was doing, and so that embarrassed the family, and so she really wasn't talking to me. But then she sent me this, and I know that he had her send it to me, and I would like for you to note that it says here about basically about women being abducted. It's like a warning about an abduction to a woman. She's posing this as like she's sending this, like, this basically, when I need you to pay attention, and it basically is about women potentially being abducted. Okay, so that was very, very threatening. And then I told her to burn in hell, stay away from me, you're evil. And that was my response to her sending that to me. I had been telling her to stop reaching out to me. These are all most recent, and thank goodness I screenshotted all this. This is on November 27th. I love y'all. Call me. This is lies. I know he doesn't love us because he sent somebody to come and harm me when I had my babies in my hand. And he said accept my request, meaning he kept on sending me requests and then unsending it and sending it so I will still be notified. He wanted me to continue to be notified, as you know, just like he wanted me to continue to be in the court, which I wish I could bring up all the papers. I don't have all of those right now, but he has been throwing curveballs at me every week in court for something different. Him trying to remove the PPO, and just not constantly in court dealing with stuff with him. He's brazen enough to flat out ask me, can he come visit, or can I come visit him? I pray we get on better terms. Now he's just saying that he's constantly messaging me, texting me, and calling me on video chat. All of this is his page, the 420 tour guide, and the third one down is something negative that was put up, and then he commented and liked on it, basically letting me know, hey, I see you, I see what you posted. And this is something a long time ago that was posted a long time ago. And he came back to it again to like it and comment on it, as well as constantly send me likes and some sort of correspondence through Instagram and all the different social media forms. This is more texts and messages from Ali, telling me to call me. I miss y'all. This is a different, as he sends multiple texts and messages from different sources. This I think was text messages from his phone number. The other one was Instagram, and we have Messenger. It just says, call me. I miss y'all. I'm trying to meet up with you. So drop off some clothes shoes for the twins. Mind you, I haven't talked to this man in months. He has never even really known what the children's shoe size was. So I know that's a farce. So how is he trying to drop off shoes and clothes and he doesn't know what size the babies are in? Definitely not the shoe size. I mean, you could assume what size a 2-year-old baby would be in, but the shoe size, he does not know what the baby shoe size or even clothes size is, for that matter. And he's telling me he wants to meet up with me to bring just anything that he can say. He's trying to play on the whole injury that happened when he was 10 years old. His hip is feeling better. That's what he's referring to. His hip. An injury that happened when he was like 10 years old, that he's been walking his whole life. And then he mentions here on December 4th, hey, so are you pregnant? Hey, so are you pregnant? You never did say anything else about it. So you're saying this on December 4th, and I mentioned to you that I was pregnant back in August when you abducted the children, because I was trying to say anything to get the babies back. And so I said that to him, and he's never said a thing about it until now when it's getting close to his trial. We're in December here, and the trial is in January, so he's saying anything to hold on to things. I guess he counted up the weeks of how long it would be that I would be pregnant. He said it's been 14 weeks when I told him that I was pregnant. I was just saying anything just to get him to bring my children home.
An adventure to the series. Stars Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, and Karen Gillan all return. The story follows the group back in Jumanji to rescue their friends.
And this is his daughter. She's sending me messages. Now, mind you, she never sends me messages, calls, texts, anything. In the time that I've known Ali, she's never checked on me. She's, in fact, done the exact opposite. She's tried to fight me before, and I never really wanted to be around her since then. But besides all of that, even when I started talking to her again, she's never reached out to me about seeing the children, and he has her reaching out about seeing the children. So this is her asking, how are you and the twins? I miss the twins, and I got some stuff for them. So this is letting me know that her wording is the same wording that Ali used. So he's talking to her and telling her to say these things. Hey, I got some stuff for them. No, you don't. You didn't even know my children. And that was my response. Let me go see if I can pull that up. Okay, so my response, let's see what I read.
There's no snow. We've had the lake effect snow showers the past 2 days. Nothing coming today.
So what I was responding was, I said, oh, you missed the twins. You don't even know my children. All you've seen them is basically the times that I've pulled up, like maybe pulled up to meet up with Ali or whatever, and she might have been around, or she pulled up and she came pull up in my house. Like, she's seen my babies while they've been in the back of the car. Like, she never, you pull up and she never even asked to, like, can you, let me see the babies, take the babies out, let me, I want to play with them, like, nothing like that. Like, I was basically being sarcastic to say, what do you miss them being in the car with me? And, you never really been around my children, besides one incident that she's been around babies, and they were little babies. So how could she possibly miss my babies and want to be around my babies? That's a farce. And I was mentioning that she brought her to my house, and they came over to my house to fight me. And I told her that you clearly don't give a care about my babies, and that's the reason why she would bring somebody over to my house to fight me. And I was saying to them, I don't call them. I have nothing to do with them. The only time I call them is try to get help dealing with Ali.
As volumes build, this tends to be
And I was mentioning how I tried to get away from him.
35 between Adams and 12 Mile, with just 2 lanes available, both north and southbound. You can expect some delays there as well. So far, though, you're moving at construction zone.
Okay, and when I was referring to about the videos is that that was super frightening for them to come to my house at 10 o'clock at night. But I had to send her something to play on her heartstrings. Hopefully, I was hoping that that would pull some sense into her. Like, hey, how could you do that? These are your family. These are your brother and sister. That was super unsafe and dangerous. And hey, by the way, look at all the stuff that the baby have. I know that he's lying and making it seem like he doesn't have anything. So I go through the baby's drawers. I mean, drawers full. My son just had multiple pairs of new shoes. And all the children had bedroom sets, and their drawers are full of clothes, nicely folded. And I sent videos to her to let her know that the children were not wanting or needing anything because their mother made sure that I provided everything that they needed. So, and that's what I was referring to.
Out here for roughly 3 hours now. They were called out to the 11,700 block of Manor Street right around 3 o'clock this morning. That is near Plymouth and Myers, again on the city's west side. And they've been focused on a home at this location for quite a bit of time.
I was letting her know how traumatized my babies were for what she did.
11,700 block of Manor. We don't know
Going to our house, and they broke our safety.
don't exactly know what led up to the shooting, what sparked the shooting this morning, but police are confirming that 2 men were killed in this double shooting. They're now working to identify the victims in this case. They also tell us that they do have...
And she's lying, saying, I'm not reading all that. The average person, first of all, if somebody says to you, hey, you broke into my house, like, she's just not wanting to. She's thinking that she's going to be absolved from any of this because if she doesn't say it in a text, but she knows what she did.
Thank you so much. The man accused of killing a missing Farmington Hills woman.
She could care less about whether we were doing good or not because she sent somebody to try, or she came with the girl Rover over here to try to fight me. They both were snatching at the door, trying to get in the door once I came to the front door and was on the phone with the police officers. When they came back up to the door, she was yanking at the door just like the other girl was. So.
42-year-old one student told a parent about advances from Traskell, which eventually led to his resignation.
This was after Ali took the children, and I was messaging with her, trying to plead with anybody to get my kids, and she told me then I was going to get my ass beat.
Michael Fletcher will be sentenced for operating while intoxicated and driving with a suspended license. Those charges are related to his arrest in October of 2018. This past September, White Lake Township police say Fletcher was also arrested on suspicion of being drunk in the parking lot.
And she's a very volatile,
Test revealed his blood alcohol level.
unstable person, and I'll show you some more of the text where she said she was going to beat my ass. And this, I've encountered this girl 2 times, and nobody should make you that upset that you have to go out of your, you want to try to fight somebody. Like, what is she wanting? I'm a grown woman and I have little babies. She has little babies. She has 3 children. She's like in her early 20s and she has 3 children. And I'm wondering if her children were in the car because one of them is a new baby that day that they came to my house.
This morning, the ferry that
Again, jumping back and forth. This was me contacting the imam, one of the imams that I had gotten the information to call. And I was just calling anybody that I could, any imam that I could, to try to get help, originally before I started really calling the police as much. And here I was asking him, basically this was the day the babies were taken, and I called him screaming and crying on the phone. Like, I told you guys to get him. I told you. And I'm like, he's taking my babies. And I was just basically letting them know, like, how many times did I tell y'all to help me with him? Help me get away from him. Because with the imams, they have a responsibility to the community. Like, the people are supposed to look up to them and respect them. And you're supposed to have meetings with these imams when stuff happens in families, and they're supposed to help to mediate and rectify it, but with him they felt like he was just too incontrollable. He wasn't really following by Islam like they practice, and they said it was nothing they could do, and they instructed me to call the police. So this was the text from when I called him screaming and crying, and then he said, I can't even hear what you're saying. And he's saying he's not respecting anything concerning his religion or the hierarchy. So basically he's telling me this is not our problem if he isn't accepting our advice. So they have been trying, but he wouldn't do right. This is Ali's son. Well, let me know that he's getting his messages. He just chooses when he wants to respond. This was when I was trying to retrieve my things. This might have been after they came and dumped them. I gotta check to see when the exact date was, but I know this was around the time that this conversation was about, and I think I was basically letting him know, hey, I don't want nobody to touch him. He's purposely trying to make this traumatizing for me by throwing my stuff out of the house instead of allowing me to collect my own things like I have been asking for the past year. Just asking and pleading with them to keep my dignity. I'm wanting to move my things. I don't want his family members, his mom, who had already been taking videos of me collecting my stuff off the ground where Ali had threw it. I didn't want them a part of that. So I'm asking them, please. I need to speak to the imam because I wanted to know which imam was the appropriate imam to talk to. Because I didn't know. Is there a better imam in Virginia? I just didn't know. Again, this is excitement this is all stuff that's antagonizing. He's been constantly going to court to do stuff. He went to court to have to get absolved from having to pay from child support. And he put my name on the document, and he tagged this into the friend of the court. Closes and we'll go to my page to see that he's speaking about myself. Nana. And that's who he's referring to is me. And so we can make sure that it's me, and it's me.
Chrysler workers voted to ratify a new 4-year deal yesterday. The deal includes
see if there's something in the comments.
FCA wants the last of the car makers to negotiate with the union. General Motors workers ratified an agreement in October after a 40-day strike, and Ford settled last month.
Here we go, 6 o'clock. We started this week out warm, 50 degrees on Monday. We had the rain, and since then we've been cooling down. Temperatures this morning in the teens to begin, but look at the afternoons for the next couple. 30s this afternoon will go close to going to be to start the weekend. Rain, snow showers possible. Here's your current situation. Wind is calm though.
He's he's out of Facebook jail, so he was in the Facebook thing for some while for selling weed online and posting stuff, and then he alluded to the fact that that's why he was on there, and he was like, I got 90 days worth of stuff to pick up and post, and he posted this. I think he still had the babies when he posted this.